Energy is all around us. And the cool thing about energy is that the total amount of energy never changes. How is this possible? Let's start by breaking down the work energy formula. The energy formula states that kinetic energy at the beginning plus potential energy at the beginning equals kinetic energy at the end plus potential energy at the end. To understand this formula, we need to know what kinetic and potential energy are. So kinetic energy is just the amount of energy that occurs when an object is in motion. Potential energy is the amount of energy an object could have or potentially has, hence its name. Still not sure? Let's take this skateboarder who is at the top of a half pipe. We are going to ignore friction for the moment for simplicity's sake. The top of the half pipe, before he makes his drop, he has the most potential energy and zero kinetic energy since he isn't moving. What happens once he starts moving? As he goes down, his potential energy decreases and his kinetic energy starts to increase. What do you think will happen when he hits the bottom of the ramp? When he hits the bottom of the ramp, he has the most kinetic energy because he has hit the minimum point and has gained the most amount of kinetic energy available to him. As he starts moving up the ramp, the amount of kinetic energy will decrease, and the amount of potential energy will start to increase once again. You will see that when he hits the top on the other side, his kinetic energy is at 0 and his potential energy is at a max. Throughout the whole time, if you watch the total energy bar, it never changes. The total amount of energy stays the same because it's just shifting from potential energy to kinetic energy. Without any friction, the skateboarder will go back and forth forever. What happens when we add friction? When you add friction, all that happens is you add another energy, causing the equation to change slightly. The equation becomes kinetic energy at the beginning plus potential energy at the beginning plus work other equals kinetic energy at the end plus potential energy at the end, where work other in this case is friction that is transferred into thermal energy. Thermal energy refers to the energy contained within a system that is responsible for temperature. Heat is the flow of thermal energy. To explain thermal energy, let's think of a man pushing a box. Since the friction is the work done that is not stored as potential energy, all the work done by the friction results in a transfer of energy into thermal energy of the box and the floor. Thermal energy flows as heat within the box and the floor, ultimately raising the temperature. With the skateboarder, the thermal energy comes from the friction being transferred into thermal energy from the wheels and the ramp. The friction then causes the skateboarder to come to a stop, and all the energy will be thermal energy. During this whole scenario, the total amount of energy never changes.